koi is really great. We can move the yellow perch at some point, and I have a tank designated for them. So some of the koi will come out, perch can go in. We've also looked at doing catfish. And that's originally was my main thing, and then I started running into all the hang-ups with bureaucracy and some other issues that bluefish just, it's a whole other set of problems. So getting the project in, installed, and working, now there's a lot of support for it. A lot easier to jump through the hoops to get our food. Fish designated for. So
jump through hoops one at a time.
Yes, and this project took 2 years from its start. So we're at the 2.5-year mark right now. Water has been in and flowing for a year, but it was a long time to get this project installed.
What we're experiencing is just the solar gain.
Yes. So the tanks are heated, the water, so you are getting some ambient heat from the water. Most of this, even without the tanks, this would still be pretty warm.
Yeah.
I also have a ton of heat sinks in here, so all of the water itself, and then also the concrete blocks are all absorbing heat and being able to store the ambient.
So even these nights, it keeps it through these nights.
It does. I'm trying to raise money right now to do a double-walled layer with a small blower. So that we're not losing just as much heat. And I was just talking to Melissa about that. It would also help with our condensation problem. But right now, any heat that I have is leaving the greenhouse at night. But I do have the thermal store, which helps moderate the temperature as well as all this water. And then one thing I didn't talk about was this awesome rack system we just installed. So this is a unistrap material, so it goes together like an adult erector set. It is one of the coolest building materials I work with. It just goes together with bolts. Everything screws together, locks together, it's really solid. But what it is I have a vertical airlift system that I built, kind of a modified design of some stuff I found on the internet. I kind of in an internet race for how far we can get these things to move water. What's happening is, if you guys you can probably hear it and see it in places, the bubbles that are happening underneath the rack tank. The excess air pressure that I didn't need is pumping air through this tube, which is taking the water, super aerating it, and then moving the water up to the top of the system itself. So this is one of 20 that will be on this. The water will be pumped into this gutter and then dripping down into each system. So we're going to have a bunch of different ones, a couple different ones of these strawberry towers, which are DIY off the internet. It involves melting PVC, which is kind of a gross activity. As well as some other types. Well, it's one of the worst chemicals that you can release from plastic when you superheat it to melt it like that. So it is not something I really want to encourage people to do, but they are really cool systems. They can be done in a little slightly safer manner than what I was doing. Slicing it with chop saw and melting it with a heat gun. It is really gross. But we're also building some long vertical or horizontal pieces, NFT materials, so they're growing basically in gutters like this, or they're growing in a tube on its side with the net pots in it. So instead of them being completely submerged all the time, there's just a small trickle of water constantly going across the root base.
And this is just to increase the growing space in the same system?
Exactly, exactly. And the idea with this system is that it's not any one particular type. It's a demonstration of all the different ways that you could do it. And so I don't have an ebb and flow media set up, but I do have the vertical lift, and then I will have some of these NFT situations. So, and also we have 6 interns that work in the greenhouse right now besides myself. Along with a bunch of volunteers, so I let them have a key project. So each one will have a type of vertical grow system that they're installing, and then all run off this one piece. You guys have any questions?